I've been at Norwich driving for 10 years, a little over 10 years, yep. I moved up from DC and I owned a couple delis. Before that I was teaching 5th grade, worked in Gallaudet for a little bit. Before that I was performing, so it's been a varied life. And I ended up here performing. A lot of games happen at night and so forth. And when I first got here, it was just me with the teams. And the early club games, we would be out on the ice with tricycle. We would be goofing around because it was all new. So, but now we're a little bit more professional, just a little. Starting in the morning, if there isn't a skate beforehand, we basically we're just making ice after every group. And while we're not making ice, we're taking care of the building. Whether it's cleaning the seats, cleaning the glass, fixing something that's broken, doors, lights, whatever. It's just maintaining the whole building. Then after a group, ice is made and that goes throughout the day. I get here around 3. Most groups, both varsities, community, clubs, they all skate at night. So most of the skating it happens at night, and I will be making ice after every group, and then in between which cleaning glass or whatever, getting ready for the weekend. Now on Wednesdays we do ice maintenance. Tonight I will do the edger, going around. The edger goes around the boards, and it has to, water can build up on the board so it has a curve, and you want a nice 90 degrees so that a puck can go right along the boards and come right around the whole side. And so a couple times a week, we edge it, break down that, and go through the whole thing. And then after that, I will start shaving the ice, because Wednesday's ice maintenance day, and we shave the ice down so we can brighten up the colors. After you skate on ice for a while, it dulls with all the cut marks, and so we lower the ice close to the colors so it's brighter, and then we spend a day flooding it back up. Because if you are too close to the colors, your skate will cut right into the color and the color will bleed. So that's how you brighten up the ice, but that's a Wednesday activity. And then we just keep going and get ready for another double header this weekend. Well, we always have to watch how thick it is, how thin it is, how close we are. The ice surface the floor itself isn't completely level. So there are certain parts of the ice that are thinner by nature, and if it starts getting really bright, then we've got to make sure when we're making it, we pull the blade back over certain areas to try to keep it consistent or not to cut into the colors at all. But it's actually is better for the ice because you're skating 20-minute periods, and so you can almost build up the ice a little bit as compared to at night. The guys will come out and skate, and they're hardest on the ice. They will skate for an hour and a half, and they tear the ice up. And I have to play some clever things to get the ice ready for the women's varsity, because you don't want anybody to get an awful sheet of ice. And so I kind of have to do a make and a half before the women or after the men, depending on how hard their practice is. But the only thing about the weekends, when you're making ice that often, it's a lot of hot water. You always flood with hot water. That's a lot of hot water going down on the surface, and you're pushing the compressors more. And what you always want hard ice, as hard as you can make it. We're known as a hot rink. It's warm when you're skating on there. So the surface, it is kind of warm. So we have a medium hard. We don't have the hardest ice in the world. If you go to some of the rinks that have an outdoor rink, that oftentimes is very hard ice. But our ice is, for an indoor rink, it's good. It's hard. Oh, it's a special ingredient. We used to actually use antifreeze, so that I don't know if you know what they're talking about. On the nets, during the week we just had metal pegs, but during the varsity games, we pull the plug out and there's a funnel, there's a channel right down into the hole, and where you put a marsh peg in it. That way the net stays on, it's harder to knock it off. So we pull the plug out and then we clean out all the ice. When you're making ice, it'll fill back in with water. We used to use antifreeze, but it would get all over everything and it wasn't that efficient. Now we've just gone right back to basics. We just use hot water. And make is about 10 minutes long. So within those 10 minutes, especially during a varsity game when you have people working the the pegs on both ends, they get a chance to actually clean them out good. So it's hot water.
Now that you know a little bit more about Dan the Zamboni Man, be sure to be on the lookout for him at this weekend's upcoming PrimeLink Great Northern Shootout on Friday and Saturday. This video was produced by Norwich Athletic Communications.